Okay, we're getting ready to Poravering this mould to give it its backing, and there's the 3 layers of 295 gram jabberoo cloth, we call it, already cut out, which should come across underneath and then up the side, so about 1/2 inch or so. The blocks in here, the ones with all the goop on the top, they're the ones that surrounding the locator pins. There's 6mm pins with 30mm long, a few of them are long. And the other blocks are my clamping blocks, so that this 295 should sit pretty close to the top of these. I'll put a bit of splooge on there when it goes down on the last, and that should give me a clamp point there, and there's a corresponding one on the back side as well. So that just gives me lots of clamping options without clamping onto the Poravering. Over here we have pre-cut plastic in the shape to go onto the 295, and some thin foam that came in some packing or something from eBay, cut to the same size. And then on the top of all of that will go this 1/2 inch template, which will press down, hopefully give us a nice neat job as we go. Okay, so on we go. Okay, so we've got 450 grams of resin here mixed up. I need to put some pigment in it before it goes in the Poravering, which is this white bowl here. Sorry. But first I'm just going to give a bit of just a quick slap around of resin. I've already hit the whole mould on the inside with 40 grit sandpaper. I just want to put a little bit in just as a bit of a contact layer. As you can imagine, there's been a lot of brushing on this process, with about 6 different layers going in on top of the gel coat. You can see here in the fin I've got a little bit of carbon, just because the fin is a big open flat space, just to give it a little bit of stiffness. Another fantastic suggestion from Mr. Irvin. Thank you, Jeff, once again. Okay, that should do that. It's really just to make sure the Poravering has something to contact to. Okay, so a little pigment. The reason for using the pigment is because the Poravering is white, and this then gives you a good indication of whether the resin has completely saturated the pigment, the Poravering or not. This is the blue that I normally use in my gel coat, but in this instance I left the gel coat white just for something different. See how it goes. To the bin. Get back on. Alright, this has been fairly thoroughly mixed. Give it one last little scrape. And had to use the bigger scales because the little ones on my mixing table only go to 300 grams. So if I push that out of the road, you should be able to see this. So this is the Poravering. It's like, I describe it as a bit like rice bubbles. Okay. A lot of resin and it just went slurp. So, very hopeful that there's enough there to wet the whole lot out. Probably can't see, but that's all fairly wet, as in things are touching themselves. You can see here's a little bit of dry stuff, so the difference. Okay. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but there's 6 litres of Poravering in there. We've sort of worked on an absolute minimum resin ratio of 50 grams per litre, and 100 grams per litre is super saturated, so I've sort of gone with about, what's that, about 60, 70 or something like that, about 70 grams, so that I'm hoping that will be a good ratio. Tell you, there's some very interesting fumes coming off this stuff. So much resin. Alright. Don't know how well you might see it on the video, but this area here is obviously higher than ½ an inch off that top lip. So the screed board that I've got there to put weight down on has a hole cut out of it, and I'm hoping that the 3 layers of cloth will just bridge that okay, and we'll see how it goes. Okay. It's about 4 in the afternoon here and I'm sweating like a dog. But I think we've just about got it. I don't care if the Poravering sits above these a little, it's just as long as I can see them on the finished product, so I know where to clamp. And in fact it'll be just a big blob of splooge there probably to help them connect. But there we go, and unfortunately look at how much we've got left over. It's almost 2 litres there, I'd say, which is very disappointing. Okay, so now I need to wet out the glass, which I'll do by having it between 2 sheets of plastic, and I'll screed it, and then making up a splooge mix so that I can run around all the edges and dot all these, and probably put a little bit here as well, so that we get decent contact there with the cloth. Depends on how that resin lasts. If it stays okay, I may get this done and flip it over and fill the paraver as much as I can on the other side. Okay, we've got 250 grams of glass, so we'll mix 250 grams of resin. Again, this feels way too much resin, but we'll see. I won't put it all in. If I don't need it all, I'll use some of it to make the splooge up. If I can move quickly here, I can probably get that paraver down on the other side, because it's all quite thin now. It shouldn't exo or anything. Now it's just a race of time. But you always make sure you mix properly. You don't want problems with epoxy not going off. That's what out. Alright, now what we're going to do is make some splooge. Oh, and this is getting very warm, so we're going to have to hurry.